Hi, Mary. Hi, Lamont. This is Natalie Holmes. I have been a social worker that you have been working with, and I am really glad that you both came in here today. I know things have been really stressful lately, so I appreciate you being here and every session that you have been coming here. So, before we get started, I just want to check in a little bit and see how things have been going at home this past week, or even since the last time we met. Okay, it sounds like things are still pretty overwhelming right now between the kids, everything that's been going on financially, and just the day to day stress. That's a lot to carry at once. And like I mentioned before, you are not alone. There's other people that have been going through similar situations. There is community support or even support from professionals such as myself as your social worker. So when things start to feel overwhelming like this, what usually happens next? What does a typical moment look like when things start to escalate? Okay, it sounds like things can go from calm to stressful pretty quickly, especially with the kids involved, with each having their own situation. What kind That kind of pattern can be really exhausting over time, and you have been experiencing this for a while. So I can see that. But from what you both have been describing, it seems like there has been a lot of tension within the household and also frustration. And that's, again, very understandable given what you have been dealing with lately. So, here today, I want to try something that's a little bit different. It's a little bit simple, even though it's new, but it can be really helpful in shifting the energy that is within the household. And hopefully, over time, you will experience it. So, this activity that I'm talking about is called a praise jar, and it's just a simple title. And the idea behind it is to start focusing more on positive things that are happening instead of everything that's been going wrong, which is really easy to get stuck in when you're stressed as you are. And I feel like we have been focusing on the negative parts and concerns, and switching to something positive could be a great change. So, with this activity in praise jar, um, what you do is you keep a jar or a container, whatever you have at home, and whenever somebody notices something positive about another, such as helping out, um, trying to do something new that's positive, or even just being kind. So you take that and you write it down on a small piece of paper, and then you put it in the jar or the container of your choosing. Then at the end of the week, you can go through the jar together as a family, and it's meant to help build more support, encouragement, and connection going on within your family. So, one thing that I also want to mention is that this isn't about ignoring the hard stuff or pretending that everything is okay, because you are going through these things and the different stressors. So, you're still going to have the some stressful moments. That's realistic, but being able to look forward to the positive comments could be something new. And this is just about making sure that positive things are being shown and not to just be completely lost in everything else negative that you have been experiencing. So, what are your thoughts on trying something like this? Mary? Yeah, I hear what you're saying. It might feel a little awkward at first, especially if things have been tense like they have been, but that's actually normal. And it's not about forcing anything or forcing comments. It's about starting with something small and noticing things that may already be happening and things that may be overlooked. Um, so, what do you think might be the hardest part about doing this at home, Lamont stays? Well, if we're too focusing on the negative things, how are we able to focus on something positive? Starting something new like this can feel uncomfortable at first, but if it's not something you're willing to do and it doesn't work out, you don't have to do this activity. It is your choice, but it's just something that may actually be beneficial if effort is put into it. I think it's worth a try. So let's try a few things together. So maybe you can see what it looks like and see if it's something you are willing to try at home. So, Mary, I'll start with you. What's one thing that you noticed about Lamont that you feel has been positive lately? I can give you an example. So, you could say he's been trying really hard even though he's been stressed. It's not too specific, but it's just a general comment of something that you've noticed. Something small like that still does count. Now, Lamont, I'm going to ask you the same thing. What is something you appreciate about Mary right now? Lamont states, she's been trying her best to hold things together with the kids, even though she's been super overwhelmed. That's a great example. That's exactly what we're looking for, something that's real and everyday things. Now we can bring the kids into it. So we can think about Simon for a second and what is something positive that you've noticed about him. That works. Even something small like he tried at school today or at home he did listen at this moment. Just something small, like I said. Now moving towards Elizabeth, she sounds like she's doing really well in a lot of areas, such as reading and being creative and just being helpful. And those are the things that should be recognized, even if it is consistent. With her past behavior, it still is something that I'm sure she would like to hear about herself, even with Isaiah, who has been struggling developmentally, like you have reported previously. There are still some positive moments that you can write about him, such as like he smiled at something or he engaged positively with a family member or connects in certain situations. Those things still count just as much as the positive comments about the other children. So let's try one more round just so it starts to feel a little bit more natural. Mary, what is another small thing that you noticed about Lamont, even if it's something that's really simple? Mary states, he just always shows up for me. That's great. Now, Lamont, the same question for you. What's something else that you appreciate about Mary? And again, it doesn't have to be big. Those small things are actually what build stronger relationships over time. So, would you like to share? Thank you for that. So, let me ask you both. After practicing that, how did it feel? Did it make a difference saying those things out loud? I understand it can be a little different than what you're used to, especially if most of the focus has been on corrective behavior or dealing with the different problems or situations that you're in. Do you think hearing more of that at home would change anything for you or the kids? Like the positive things? Thank you for that, Mary. Even small changes like that can start to shift how people respond to each other, hopefully in a positive way. So, with everything that has been going on with the stress, the finances, and the parenting, it's easy for things to feel heavy all of the time. So, that's why I chose this activity to start bringing in a little bit of balance within the household. So, it's just not all negative interactions with each other all day long, especially for the kids. Hearing positive things about themselves can make a difference in how they behave and how they see themselves. If they hear a positive praise from the jar, they may feel proud of themselves, which could encourage them to continue that behavior moving forward. So, what I'd like for you both to try this week is by creating your own praise jar at home and to start to see if you can add pieces of paper in there of your positive comments about one another. Um, it doesn't have to be perfect, just start small um, with your one note a day. And Mary, I understand you expressed the difficulty of trying to do the one a day. All you can do is try your best. And if it feels hard at first, that's okay. It's just something that you're trying to get used to with this activity. And the goal isn't to do it perfectly, it's just to start to see if there are positive outcomes from this. So then the next time we meet, we can talk about how it went, the things you noticed, if this is something that is working in your family, or if it's not working at all. There are plenty of other activities that we can try moving forward with the family, because we just want to see progression and something that works and benefits everyone within the household. So I feel like trying the praise jar activity is a good first step. Is that something that you feel like you're willing to try, Mary Lamont? Okay, well, let's try it. But I really appreciate you both being here and trying something new today. I know that things haven't been easy, but you showing up and putting in effort says a lot. And I hope this praise jar activity works for you, and we'll just keep working on it and moving forward together. Thanks again. Have a good day, guys.